Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 17th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day to you. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. Unless that's what you're into, my little rabbits, and by all means, have at it. But yeah, no, my day was good. It was solid. I will say I am on a bad streak for just sleeping like shit and going into work late. It is happening, and it may happen again. No, I don't know what it is. I think it's a culmination of things. I think I'm just not eating really well right now. I'm having a bit of a rut with that. I'm going to bed too late. Gaming maybe a little bit too late. And so sometimes that works in my favor, right? Like sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I'll be sleepy and I'll sleep the whole time. But like, it's just, no, you're going to sleep for 2 hours and then wake up at like 3 a.m. Now what? But I don't know. It's some kind of combination of bevy of things I'm working on. I also think another potential culprit is the weather. Like having it so it's like having a super hot room because my heating situation is so lousy. So like my room is heated, but I don't heat the rest of my house unless I'm actively in it for like more than 30 minutes to an hour. So the rest of my apartment is cold. So I get super heated in my bedroom. I will open up the door and be like, okay, let the heat out. And that kind of balances it, I hope. But yeah, it's just a bit of a miserable sleeping situation, maybe. I don't know. Also, my body not being cooperative. These things happen. Anyway, yada. I didn't sleep great. And I wind up, I think, waking up between 3 to like 5. Wake up again at like 6:30 with my alarm. And then, finally get up and add up at some point. Also, are you a 1 alarm person or a multiple alarm person? For me, I am a 3 alarm. I'm a 3 alarm Timmy. I don't know. Mainly because I have the ability to sleep at least past like 1 alarm. Like in a way that either I will like sleep through it or I will dismiss it. Like I will be cognitive enough to dismiss it and then pass back out. So like I have to have multiples to like annoy me enough to be like, no, Isaiah, you have to be awake. So yeah, I don't know what I would do if I just had the one shot to wake up. But yeah, let me know. You can sound off in the comments or hit me up. Let me know how many alarms do you like to use. But yeah, we got up. We did get after it eventually, just a little bit late. And we get to work and we have some problems. Okay. So, the trash compactor, the composite trash compactor, the everything else, trash compactor. Also, I stated in the last episode that that's a Rumpke issue in terms of like they come and have to fix it. That's not true. I always get it mixed up, right? I get it mixed up sometimes. That's the one we have to fix if it's broken. And boy, howdy, we had an issue today. We needed a little bit of a fixin' because the pushing arm for the trash compactor wasn't working right. So like they swap it out. And I'm like, all right, cool, awesome. We can get to mashing all this trash because, boy, there is a lot of it. And also, I, was reminded that we had our holiday meal, which I will be getting to in a little bit. So naturally, I don't want a situation where we are already backed up on trash and we're about to have a bunch of food waste, incoming to my area. Like, yeah, we need to get rid of this stuff ASAP, pronto. And, I'm seeing that this the compactor arm is just not moving correctly. And, other people are noticing it. And I'm like, okay, so this is a problem. Yeah, we finally get maintenance over. They're like, yeah, we're going to get on it. We're going to figure it out. That means like we have to figure it out. Maintenance is going to have to fix this. And I'm already like, oh, what if it's something they can't fix today? You know what I mean? Like that's a problem. That's bad. But I went out there with them at one point and they're like, yeah, we think it's an hydraulic leak. And I was like, okay, because that was like my instinctual guess because I've seen this happen before. And I was just like, maybe it's an hydraulic leak. But I mean, what the fuck do I know? And I could guess that and it could be totally something else. But it turns out that's what it was. I was like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to fill it up and should be good. And I'm also, that's another thing, right? When you hear that there's a leak, Don't you have the worry and fear that it's like, okay, so you're gonna fill it up. What if it's a fucking fast leak? You know what I mean? How did the leak happen? Don't we need to do some investigating into that? Needless to say, I don't care. This is a Christmas miracle if you get it fixed, right? And sure enough, they did. So, W Maintenance, we love to see it. Clap it up. They do their thing. So, we were able to get that going. Trash was good. Christmas miracle accomplished. Let's talk Food Corner. It was a good one. This was honestly one of the better catering meals. I'll try to do the right now the best I can. I got a picture in front of me here. I'll start from the top of the pile. We have this butternut squash ravioli. Like, it was like filled in the ravioli, this cream. Also covered in cheese. We have this mac and cheese, like a white mac and cheese. Super gooey, super cheesy. I'm talking like cheese pull with multiple bites. I'm talking cheese out of my mouth, like looking like a book. If I speak, looking pretty crazy. It was so yummy. We had some ratatouille. We had, I got both the rolls. Had a little bit of a salad option, which I got. That was kind of a bit of a betting for me. Had the red skin mashed potatoes. Also, turkey gravy was involved. Yummy, yummy. And then I'd say my least favorite thing in the tray on the plate, if you will, was the brisket. It was this like pastrami style situation. It just didn't hit. And generally catered brisket to me doesn't, unless you're getting it from some fucking fuego barbecue place. You know what I mean? Like, they're really putting their whole fucking ussy into this brisket. You know, they're bouncing on it crazy. They're marrying on it wild. That was not the case here, but it was fine. It was edible. Then I also got the chicken, which was a Dijon glaze, which I was a bit nervous about. When we're doing Dijon and we're glazing on it, it's like, is this going to be good? Is this going to be too sweet? Like, I love mustard. I'm a mustard enjoyer. But like, when we're talking honey and we're talking Dijon, the spectrum, we need to talk about it. There's more discourse on that, actually, okay? Maybe when this is all said and done, I throw away the politics and we start talking about sauces. Because when you go into my refrigerator, that's more or less what I keep. I keep some chicken. I keep some fucking veg. Mostly, though, pickled vegetables and like jalapeno, pickle, onion, all that kind of shit. And then a whole lot of sauce. All right? That is important to me. I mean, maybe that is our end game. Anyway, I mentioned the salad, also ranch. I didn't even finish the chicken. I got so caught up on the mustard. It had this like vegetable and I believe like a mango chutney thing going on. That was fine. The chicken did what the brisket couldn't. I'll say that much. But yeah, that more or less covers all the main options. And then there was a dessert, which was a brownie. And I eyed this brownie as they were doing the setup on my first break. And I said, I want that brownie. Because I normally get either the apple pie or the pumpkin pie from them. And it's always like, okay, never great. They also have an array of cookies that you could potentially get sometimes. And those are also the same. But this brownie, it was like crystallized in some kind of powder sugar thingy situation. It was Breaking Bad, this brownie. It had chocolate chips all through the bitch. I could tell. So I was like, I want ya. I need ya. And so I got it. I take a bite. It's cold. It's good, but cold. So I'm also running out of time. I'm doing this on a 15-minute break. You're supposed to eat this on a 30-minute break. Fuck the rules. I'm running low on time. I'm also very full. I'm feeling the effects of all the food. You know, I'm getting a food hangover on the job. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna microwave this, and then I'm gonna take it to the dumpster like a goddamn gremlin goblin, and I'm gonna eat it. And sure as shit, that was the fucking move. It was delicious. It was so yummy. It was so good. And of course, I had to survey. I had to ask the people, what did they think? Did they like it? And at least the review from maintenance, 2 thumbs up. They also agree with me. This was a W holiday meal. So Hell yeah. Merry Christmas to you. I guess you should say happy holidays, to keep it corpo. But, whatever. Who gives a shit? No one gives a shit about that. Left or right, really, no one really gives that much of a shit about it. Surprise, surprise. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've told you guys, there's a guy in maintenance who had a whole thing about the fact that our company changed the name of like we no longer went by like family picnic because like there was like a discourse about it, I guess, at work, and so they said, okay, well we'll change it to family gathering, and he got so upset about it. He had a whole rant about it. He did Fox News Live for us. It's so cute. I literally I egg him on about it. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like I will make a joke about it because I just like seeing him like giggle about it. It's just so funny that it means something to him. Like it didn't mean anything to me, dude. I don't care. I am there to eat free food and get drunk for free. That's what you should be here for. What are you doing? People are just not locked in. Sorry. But anyway, speaking of locked in, we got through, the yummy food. Of course, I'm filled with it. And we get through work. Work was fine. Like I said, outside of the trash situation, everything went smooth. Everything went very copacetic. Of course, we filled the dumpster. But yeah, after that, we go to the gym. Start off with the Smith machine, do free weights, get in my filler work, get in my core work, do a whole hour of cardio. All very nice. Also, I figured too, since I was like full of food, usually I like to come in like very hungry. I know this is maybe like a faux pas. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe scientifically it's bad. I don't care. Once again, fuck the rules. I eat when I want. Yeah, I like to work out hungry. I don't know why. I just do. I definitely. And what it is it's the alternative is the worst. Because like when I'm filled with food like I was today, I'm gassy, I'm gross. I don't like being in public in general, let alone sweating and like trying to exert force and effort. While I'm farting like a Numamon. If you know, that's a Digimon reference. It's not a fun scene. I look like a flubber beast. I don't want to be that way at a Planet Fitness. No, thank you. But we got to do what we got to do. The pump. She persists. But yeah, overall, good workout. And after that, we came home, did some stretches, did some research, and here we are, ready to yap about some news. All right, so let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's go ahead and get into said news. Ooh. And we are sipping on some Truthadelic tonight. It's good. This is as good as I remember. Nice to have like the little 6-pack, in the house. From The Guardian, though. From The Guardian. Anyway, Washington State flooding damage profound but unclear, governor warns. The extent of the damage in Washington State is profound but unclear after more than a week of heavy rains and record flooding, according to the state's governor, Bob Ferguson. A barrage of storms from weather systems stretching across the Pacific has dumped close to 2 feet, or 0.6 meters, of rain in parts of the state, swelling rivers far beyond their banks and prompting more than 600 rescues across 10 counties. And they go into more details about it, throughout the article. But this is something that's kind of been ongoing in the backbeat. I feel like I've been hearing coverage about it even from last week. And this is also one of the stories where, and this is like a news ick for me. But I hate when people go, like, they share a post or they make a post of like, da-da-da-da, why aren't more people talking about this? And it's like, honey, bunny, baby, bop, like, what are you talking about? Like, there's so much happening in the world. Like, people are talking about this, actually. I know about this. I knew about this before I saw your little story, believe it or not. Like, please understand that, like, sometimes things just, sadly, for better or worse, like, they do get prioritized out of the news. It isn't spin, I feel like. You know what I mean? It's not like people are trying to bury this. It's just, sadly, there's a lot of stories that just don't get the same kind of airtime. And yes, it's unfortunate, but I truly do not like that. You know what I mean? It's a bothersome fucking tone to take. Because there's definitely times where people are burying a story and not talking about a story, or they're covering it in such a weirdly warped way. Like, but this is not that to me. So I don't know. That bothered me. I don't know why I felt compelled to talk about that. But anyway, I did want to get to my highlighted portion before we bounce along. As of Tuesday, authorities had recorded one death of a man who drove past warning signs into a flooded area. So that's obviously unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, just kind of speaking to myself and how I like to cover these stories, or maybe even not, is that, yeah, like as unfortunate as it is, I often am not going to cover a story like this until it makes a certain kind of like, it hits a certain kind of threshold. A certain amount of things happen, because for me personally, I only have about 4 slots on my better episodes. I don't like to go crazy talking about everything. Like, some things are not going to get the main coverage. You know what I mean? And I'm just a small batch, content creator guy. You know what I mean? Just yapping about news clips and articles. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I really do like to buck against that, and I know this is like a weird thing to like be fucking roaring and ranting about, but that just bothers me. And I will say though, there was a kickback one time, and I had a friend who had the same wave, and we locked in. Like, it was like the Rocky Apollo like handshake. Like, yes, brother, I hate that shit. Anyway, let me move along. From The Guardian, I just realized I doubled down on The Guardian here. I double dipped the chip. And yeah, I'm going, across the pond to talk about American shit. I just like it. You know what I mean? I'm sure that there have been people who notice that. I've had people on like Facebook whenever I share like Guardian articles or whatever, like, funny, guys sharing a UK article about American news. Like, yeah, man, I did. Is it wrong what they're saying? The full? Anyway. 4 Republicans joined Democrats to force vote on bill that would extend Obamacare subsidies. In a major setback for Mike Johnson and the House GOP, 4 Republicans have joined with the Democrats to sign a petition forcing a vote on legislation that will extend for 3 years premium tax credits for Affordable Care Act healthcare plans. The rebellion underscores the nervousness among Republicans over an increase in healthcare costs before the 2026 midterm elections, in which the party will be defending its slim control of the House. Democrats have for months united around extending the subsidies, but Donald Trump and Congress's Republican leaders have refused, citing their long-standing opposition to the Affordable Care Act. But the party's moderates have argued that allowing the credits to expire will betray the promise, of lower costs they made to their constituents last year. After failing to negotiate a compromise with GOP leaders, the 4 Republicans opted to sign a discharge petition sponsored by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries that will compel a vote on the Democrats' bill. We have worked for months to craft a 2-party solution to address these expiring healthcare credits. We've worked for months with both parties in both chambers and with the White House, all in good faith, to balance all equities and offer a responsible bridge that successfully threaded the needle, said Pennsylvania Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, the first Republican to sign the petition. So, I mean, this is a curious wrinkle. And we're first covering the House. We're going to talk about a little bit of shit going on in the Senate next. But, I mean, this is relevant. I don't know how far it's going to go in terms of, like, this division. A bit of a, I guess you could say, uprising, if you will. But I feel like that's being dramatic to say that much. But, yeah, I mean, I think all of these Republicans, really, if they look at it and they're being honest, that you are in a rock and a hard place here. Are you going to back this MAGA brand, which says, hey, this shit is Obama-ass woke liberal bullshit. We need to get rid of it. Cut it. It's fat. We don't need it. Like, this goes against our conservative brand, our mantras. Just get rid of it, dude. Or do you say, hey, I was kind of like, I don't know, crazy notion of like elected for my constituents. I'm supposed to be working for them. And if I take money out of their pockets because this is going to up their healthcare in 2026, like, am I the good guy here? Are they going to be calling me the asshole? Like, am I going to lose my seat just for that alone? Is this worth it? And I think for these 4 fucking Republicans, they said, yeah, it's not worth it, dog. Like, fuck you. Like, respectfully, politely as I can, fuck you. I guess that's what they're trying to do here. I mean, good, cool. Like, it's very frustrating to me. I was thinking about this before I went on to record this. It just feels like what we are left with, what we are forced to root for if you're choosing to engage in this whole fucking, politic bullshit for, the next, several years is what? Are we rooting for centrism? Like moderates are supposed to be on the up again? Is that going to be a thing? Because no one likes that. It's the reason when we wind up getting Donald Trump at the end of the day is that we start wading in the fucking water, doing nothing, and people want to actually have some kind of change, and they reach for a guy like this. And then when that doesn't work, they fall back on an old man like Joe Biden. And then they go back to Donald Trump again. It's just like, oh, what are we going to do again? Like, we don't even have the idea of like a fucking change candidate like Barack Obama that just didn't do anything either. We just, got to cloak yourself in being a progressive. This seems to be the only thing that you can root for, right? Is that you have these quote unquote real common sense Republicans that actually are like, no, like this is bad. I actually am supposed to be like working for my people, and they fight Trump on these things, and maybe some things shake and move, and we get some progress, or we net neutral. Like things don't get worse. Or what? Like, I don't know. It's such a bummer fucking situation to have to like root for these kind of situations. And then also, once again, Democrats who have no plan, who are just telling you they're better than Donald Trump, and they just want things to be normal and cool and like, good vibes. Like, yeah, it's very frustrating. And you're just happy that we're just not doing like the MAGA shit. Like that is what you're hoping for. That is what you're rooting for. That is like the best in-game scenario right now in America. Like it's a fucking joke. It's not good. It's bad. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes from it. I could read this whole thing, but once again, it's all subject to change, because this is all actions in the House. And, I've been burned before. So anyway, let's move on to the Senate. From the Associated Press. Senate passes $901 billion defense bill that pushes Hegseth for boat strike video. The Senate gave final passage Wednesday to an annual military policy bill that will introduce $901 billion in defense programs while pressuring Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to provide lawmakers with video of strikes on alleged drug boats in international water near Venezuela. The annual National Defense Authorization Act, which raises troop pay by 3.8%, gained bipartisan backing as it moved through Congress. It passed the Senate on a 77-20 vote before lawmakers planned to leave Washington for a holiday break. 2 Republicans, Senator Rand Paul and Mike Lee, and 18 Democrats voted against the bill. Also, this is a random assessment, and maybe I'm fucking wrong. By all means, call in my DMs and like boo me if I'm off base here. But like, is Rand Paul like the conservative version of like Bernie Sanders or some shit? Am I missing that, or am I on with that? Am I cooking? Because anytime I've heard him, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid or anything, but he always seems to be saying like wild things that like Trump does not like this guy's such a wacko. He posted shit on that on Truth. This guy's such a fucking wackadoodle. No, like he seems to just like he doesn't mind being like a thorn in people's paw. He has his own way of like trying to go about things or whatever. I'm doing like a rough summary of this guy. But he still lands as a conservative through and through, of course. And I don't fuck with any of the shit that he really wants to enact. But I think he goes, hey, like I am a person who's working for my constituents. That is, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to represent. I align with you guys on most of this shit. We're on the same gang, but like also like you're wrong on these things, and I'm not gonna say otherwise. But yeah, I keep seeing his name a lot lately, I guess. In terms of, I guess, like oppositional figures in the conservative, situation. Anyway, let me continue. The White House has indicated that it is in line with President Trump's national security priorities. However, the legislation, which ran over 3,000 pages, revealed some points of friction between Congress and the Pentagon as the Trump administration reorients its focus away from security in Europe towards Central and South America. AKA, we were flexing and, like, you know, doing a little dabble in colonialism, maybe. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's how I'm viewing it. But it's like, hey, we're like, we need to get Maduro out of power. We need to get Machado in power. And then we need to, like, start talking about doing oil deals. We need to start talking shop with a real democracy. Oh, man. If only Trump can make it happen. If only our orange Oda can make it happen. We'll see. Time's going to tell. I mean, we'll see. I guess there's a thing worth noting here, because a lot of this article kind of goes into a bit of a recap in terms of, like, what the administration's been up to, how Congress has been feeling about it along the way. I don't want to get into that, but hold on, I'm losing my train of thought here. Oopsie poopsie. Oh, phooey. I don't know. We're going to move on. I'm drowning in the Trump verse. I'm getting double tapped. I have one more thing that I wanted to cover, and it's a bit of a happy trails. It's so long to Dan Bongino. But anyway, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. I did have more to rant about the Senate shit, but I don't. And full disclosure, this is our second take, so we're just going to run it. Hey, I'm here to tell you that the brain fog is real, y'all. Ugh. All right. Our last story comes from The Hill. Trump on Bongino leaving FBI. I think he wants to go back to his show. You know what? I think he does too, Trump. I think he does too. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino said Wednesday he will step down from his role at the Bureau in January, departing less than a year after he took the job. Now, I don't think he's necessarily the first one out. I think technically we would say Elon Musk is, right? But I argue that he was always like a special on the outs guy. We always knew that whether either it was going to be amicable or not, like, he was never going to be here forever. He was always going to, like, suck enough out, get enough done that he wanted to get done, and then kind of bounce back to doing whatever fuck all. Actually, we really haven't had much on Elon. What's he up to? Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But anyway, Dan Bongino, as I like to say. Yeah, I know, I fuck that up sometimes intentionally. I guess he finally said, I'm out. We're going to call it before the year. I think he's going to, like, retire or leave at some point, during next year, top of next year. But yeah, good. Thank you. This was a treat. I was giggling. I was clapping at nothing. I was so happy about this. This is so funny to me. 'Cause he was like, after the whole Epstein's file shit, he was, like, in an uproar. Because he kind of realized that, like, he's put his whole fucking career on the line for, like, this kind of fucking moment. And, like, it's kind of coming back on him. Because he had been doing all this ranting and raving, saying, like, all this Epstein file shit, all of this shit, it's all coming from the Democrats. It's all from them. Like, they're trying to hide this shit. They're trying to bury this shit. And, like, once Trump gets in power, we're gonna rip the shit open, brother. Meanwhile, he's trying to, like, sell you on Moink or, like, I don't know, supplements or whatever the fuck. Anyway, he gets his fucking job, and he's gonna be one of the first people to tell you, you know what's crazy, guys? I think that Epstein shit, I think it was suicide. And you know what? His crazy, riled up base was not taking that for an answer. No, dude, that was not the piece of meat that they fucking wanted. They went fucking crazy. And now his fucking shit's on the line because he's still got a podcast to fucking run. He's still got shit to sell. And he's got to put the fucking finger on somebody else. He's got to point the blame and say, who did this? And you know what? You know who he was trying to really blame? Scam Blondie. It was actually her, bro. Like, she's like being crazy. And like, you know what? If we don't actually get to the bottom of this, she doesn't get out of the way, I'm gonna fucking quit. Like, he was talking this shit, I believe, in like July. So I was ready for this guy to go. To be gone. For me, it was kind of like a race between someone like him, maybe like a Mike Waltz. We covered him earlier. Also, I want to say Pete Hegseth is in the running, but Trump loves Pete so goddamn much. He fucks with Pete, bro. He's like, you're so pretty, bro. I love watching you. I loved watching on Fox, dude. You're so cool. You're my warrior. Also, since we're just talking shop on Trump people, I didn't touch this article at all. I don't intend to. We're just in the riffing, ranting mode at this point. Kristi Noem. I've been hearing her name on the chopping block, or at least she's trying to find an exit. You know what I mean? The whole Department of Homeland Security, you know, it's a hard job. You know, being the face of that. It's not fun, maybe. I don't know. On paper, I think you like doing it, and I'm sure she just likes doing it. I think she likes doing a little photo ops. She's got the little fucking vest on, you know. She's really locking up all the brown people. I guess. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where there's a certain kind of balancing that maybe she wants to do, and then like a guy like immigration czar or whatever the fuck he's calling himself, Tom Homan, it's like, no, we want to go crazy. We want to get all the numbers we can. I don't know. I think there's some kind of division there from what I've kind of gathered. But yeah, that's really all I have. Adios, Bongino. I guess we'll see you back on your podcast or whatever. And also, by the way, to note, he has been still doing his podcast to my knowledge, just maybe not as much. But no, he should stick to that. That's where he's good at. You know what I mean? He's got a following. He's got a base. You know, he's definitely better at it than my dumbass. You know, that's the thing that does suck. I really do get it. I gotta give credit where it's due. Like, and I've said this before about even a Joe fucking Rogan or whatever. I will boo a guy like that. I will talk so much shit about that motherfucker. But could I go 2 hours? No, motherfucker. One, TikTok doesn't let me. It doesn't even let me go a damn hour. But no, my throat starts to give out. I am not the throat goat at an hour and a half. I'm just not. I think maybe some of the longest episodes I've done was like with like Late Start. If y'all remember, there's some goats. I gotta get back with them. I gotta link up with them. But no, like, I mean, that's an endurance thing, okay? And you're talking crazy shit with RFK Jr. He's croaking at you. Okay, look. So guys like Joe Rogan, Bongino, you know, they're the professionals. All right, they get paid real bucks. All right, they're getting moink money. All right? What the fuck am I making? Nothing. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I make newsy dollars, all right? I'm making Patreon newsy bucks, and that's where we're going to close it out, right? I'm going to actually get into my shill mode, all right? If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsy today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. I should be there. If there's a place that like you can do audio and I'm not, let me know. And maybe I'll try to get on. I think I wanted to try and get on SoundCloud. That was a little bit more difficult. I couldn't get on there. Maybe I am on SoundCloud. I don't think I am though. But anyway, you know, you can find me. All right. I mean, obviously you're listening. You're listening now. I say that shit and I don't fully think about it, and I will say it again, but it's just like, it is such a dumb thing to say. But yeah, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Do that, please. It's helpful. It's so helpful for the algorithm. It doesn't matter. None of this fucking matters. This is a slop shop. This is a slop shop. But no, regardless, whether you do any of those things that like boost algo, make me smile when I see the number go up, I really do appreciate you listening. You know, You're one of the few, the proud. Like, maybe you're probably a newsie. But no, if you're a new listener, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And you're a completionist, blink, that's you getting the achievement. I'm giving you that. You deserve it. But no, hopefully, you tune in again. Hopefully I see you again. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.